Timothy Bradley, Paulie,
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather, Devin Alexander, and whoever
Yeah.
the fans want to see.
Yeah. Listen, I told you give them something visual. So you went ahead and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone 6, Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.
All right, we live in HD. We all finished thing. So let's go ahead and let me get close and make sure the mic is all good. You know, put it on 60. Make sure we are good to go. 1 second. Let me just make sure. Want to get the sound down. You know, put it on 60. Make sure we. All right, the sound is good. Go ahead real quick, man, and finish rolling up your blunt, pour you a glass of whiskey, depending on what time zone you're in, or get your omelet ready. You know, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cook a little bit more. You know, this is the boxing aftermath. This is number 2, but it's actually the 3rd installment. I always start off with 0 because it lays the foundation for a series, right? So you got boxing aftermath 0, 1, and now 2. So if you haven't checked those out, this is in regards to obviously Errol Spence getting destroyed by Terence Crawford. So let's talk about it. So listen, and as usual, I'm going to cook and open the panel up for everybody who ain't got a chance to come in and speak their piece, because there's still a lot of stragglers out there that haven't stopped by. That's not a good or a bad thing. That's not a diss. I'm just saying they haven't had the time. You know, we haven't really got Big Phil Walker on here, Rollo Jenkins, and I ain't even got Hyper on here yet to hear the gang's opinion, right? So a lot of people haven't jumped on yet because they've been busy. So let's get down to it. Take this down one more notch. All right. I'm going to say this. I'm going to go back to my piece and my opinion, because this is 5 years of information. This is a 5-year-long conversation. And there's a lot to unpack within the post-fight conversation, because it's 5 years of conversations. And we spent like a year in some change simply on the fact of who's ducking who and who fault it is and who fault it ain't. We spent time on this. So we're going to have to spend time unpacking this. You spent time packing it up. So now we got to spend some time unpacking it and to the conclusion of the series. Now, the reason I'm going to continue to talk about this is not necessarily related to the nanny boo-boos or the I told you so. It's more along the lines that they're still pending a situation, if that makes sense, right? And what I'm saying to you guys is that for me, on top of trolling and picking with people or whatever they want to call it, or bringing accountability to the forefront, the truth of the matter is that 1 second. All right. So the thing is this, right? Is they have a rematch clause. Okay. So it's not technically over until Errol Spence technically bend the knee. Now he's received the beating. He received the dismantling. He got destroyed. He that's not the issue. We know that Terence Crawford, for some of us, was better than Errol Spence. Some people just didn't understand it. Some people did. Some people didn't. And I'm going to explain what my perspective was so we can get this clear. Now, until Errol Spence relents on the rematch and he concede or he retires or he has to take a layoff because of damages or whatever the case may be, I'm not sure, then I'm going to still keep cooking on it until it's finalized. Now, for me personally, from the beginning, I never believed in Errol Spence. I always thought Errol Spence was a African-American slugger. Because, for me, the way I look at things is there's 4 styles. Now, you can kind of have a spectrum of what you do far as attributes and tendencies and mannerisms within those styles, but there's just 4 basic styles, in my opinion, based on what boxing describes itself to be. So when I say there's an outboxer, what I envision is Muhammad Ali, a guy who got a good, nice jab that's pumping it. He pulled back a little bit. He stayed outside of range. That doesn't mean that he's void of fighting on the inside or doing something else. It just simply means that he's a representation of a guy who prefers to blitz you from the outside from long range. Now, for me, a slugger is a guy or a boxer who could come in like a George Foreman. That's a high-level slugger. He could come in, absorb a lot of punishment. He's like a tank. Of course, he prefers not to absorb punishment because he wants to go ahead and blitz you before he absorbs a punishment, right? So if you're a slugger, you want to ideally get in there, bust the guy up, wear the guy down, and via accumulation of punishment or an accumulation of just general power or just a breakdown. And that's what Errol Spence have represented to me. Then the next 2 styles is a swarmer and a boxer puncher. I don't think Errol Spence is a swarmer. I think Sean Porter is more of that. Pacquiao is more of that. Sometimes people will say it's an ambush fighter. They kind of scrappy, kind of fast, got some foot speed, got some hand speed, can kind of shoe shine a body on the inside. It's just not as methodical and dangerous and strong to me as the slugger. They're similar in style, but the slugger is a little bit more intentional, a little bit more methodical, and he's a little bit more durable. You know what I'm saying? And the swarmer is more of a agile, faster, crispier type of fighter. Sometimes they can be sloppy. So there's a difference for me between a slugger and a infighter. It could be confusing, but it's not to me. And then you have the boxer puncher, who is my favorite. This is a guy who, like Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is a boxer puncher. He was on full display against a high-level slugger. I already admitted that Errol Spence is a high-level slugger, but for some reason, people take offense to that and they want to put Errol Spence into this other category. And I'm going to tell you where you guys are making your mistake at. And I'm going to say this. I think you guys need to revisit the 4 styles. That doesn't mean you can't be a good counterpuncher as a slugger, outboxer, infighter. That doesn't mean your attributes have to be one track, right? Once you guys kind of dissect the 4 styles, infighting, slugging, outboxing, and boxer puncher, and you can kind of get a gauge on the difference between the 4, now you can start, in my opinion, categorizing their attributes. Because you can be a fast slugger. You can be a fast infighter. Like, speed is speed. It has nothing to do with the style. Speed is speed. Okay, what kind of speed we talking about? Okay, well, in boxing, we're talking about hand speed. I mean, that's how fast your punches come out. That's the ultimate thing. How fast your punches come out. So do you got good punching speed? Are you a fast fighter? That's what we're talking about. And the answer is yay or nay. So you could be a slugger, boxer, puncher, in fighter, or out boxer and have hand speed or moderate hand speed. Or you could kind of be a little on the slow side. That's the way it happens. Then the other type of speed we usually talk about is foot speed, meaning that some people have good feet, but their hands are not that fast and their hands are kind of moderate and their feet are just fast. Or some people got incredibly fast hands like a Benavidez, but his feet is slow. So I think you guys have to kind of get a foothold on the 4 basic styles. Just because you could counterpunch, okay, that's an attribute that goes with the 4 styles. Speed, hand speed, and foot speed are 2 different things that can be on a spectrum or equal, and they can fit into each one of the styles. A chin, all that kind of stuff right there has nothing to do with the styles. You understand what I'm saying? Being an accurate puncher has nothing to do with the style. Because you could be not as accurate as a slugger, but be and not as a outboxer, right? An outboxer, he can miss more of his punches, but he's just busier with his punches and he just have more volume. An outboxer can have more volume than an infighter. An infighter can have more volume than a slugger, and vice versa. So I think for me, what I do is I build from there, and then I kind of look at what they do well. So my breakdown was as follows. What I did was, and you can't be personal with it. You can't get offended with it. You just got to sit down by yourself and get off YouTube and just think about the fight. And whether you're wrong or right, just give yourself a real true analysis of what could happen. And then you'll feel comfortable with your decision. What I had saw in Errol Spence and Terence Crawford just watching over the years for me is that I felt that on the outside, when it comes to outboxing, I felt that Terence Crawford had that realm of boxing in the bag. So if it was a fight that would be fought at distance, okay, we're talking about the range, I just felt like Terence Crawford was better at that. There's no knock on Errol Spence. I just felt like he was better. It is what it is. In the mid-range. So if you're on the outside, you're kind of going to be outboxing, right? Hence the word outboxing the opponent. So I felt like in the outboxing realm and on the outside, I just felt like Crawford would wash Errol Spence. So that was a place for me that Errol Spence, on a balance of probability, shouldn't go. This doesn't mean that Errol Spence couldn't whoop that ass. So I get when you guys say it could be 50-50. I understand the neutrons and I understand even the guys who are talking big shit. I get it. We fuck with each other, but I get it. But I just felt like there was nothing that Errol Spence can do with Terence Crawford from the outside, and especially if both of them are on the outside. So that was a wash. The second level of range for me was in the mid range. Now, I felt like this would be the biggest mistake that Errol Spence could have made. Due to the fact that Crawford controls spacing very well, his lateral movement is way better, and he's a snappier, stronger puncher to me. That's what I just thought. He just been stopping shit. Documentation be conversation. You guys can make up these diluted excuses on what actually took place to justify your pick. It is what it is. It's just like, I'm just saying it is because I know we like to talk about other stuff too. It's just like this, man. If you see a female and she always in niggas' face, she's always entertaining niggas in her inbox, you always hear about her name in the streets, you think you just hear her name in the streets because she's a good Samaritan or politician? Or you think she out there in these streets at the club bullshitting around? Now, I ain't saying it doesn't mean that it has to be the worst case scenario. But it damn sure mean to me, nigga, it ain't the best case scenario. So that's how I live. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that it's bad that you out here in these streets. This is we talking about a hoe. We talking about because y'all need to start talking about girls sometime. Because some of y'all niggas we need to have more conversations about girls. Because y'all niggas got too much going on. Y'all, we need to talk about some hoe shit sometimes. You're out in the club and you see your favorite bartender, your favorite stripper, your favorite whoever girl out in the street, and you see patterns that you feel may be in line with hoe shit. Now, if you like hoes, that's fine. If you got your intentions on what you're going to do with the hoe, that's fine. But that doesn't negate the fact that, okay, you have to acknowledge that this is a hoe out here. Her behavior is unbecoming of a woman. Now, I don't have all the proof in the world, you know, but I'm not finna give you the benefit of the doubt for no reason. That's just too risky for me. Now, if it's a clean slate and we're at an even playing field, that's a difference. I can respect that. And we're going to bring it back into Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. That wasn't a clean slate, fellas. We're going to get to that Y. And we're going to get to that X in a minute. So at mid-range, I felt that Crawford would be, it would be brutal. I felt that it would be brutal. I knew it would be brutal for Errol Spence at mid-range. And that's not even just for Errol Spence. That's for probably everybody at welterweight for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is just a good mid-range fighter, man. It's just that is what it is. Now, in the inside, I did feel like that's where Spence could do his work because that is his wheelhouse. And even that, to me, I would say was 60-40 for Spence. Okay? Because I knew that Crawford had a tool of wrestling. Even though this ain't wrestling, I know that that's going to play a role in what takes place because Terence Crawford has used his wrestling background to muscle down Jeff Horn, Kell Brook, keep Sean Porter under control, and then obviously pushing Errol Spence back. So we know that this nigga wrestling plays a role now. That's without a shadow of a doubt. So we gonna have to implement that when he fight Charlo, when he fight Castano, if he fight Zoo. All that is on the table for me now. For officially, the wrestling has paid dividends for Terence Crawford, and he said because of his wrestling background, they had a pre-count before the count where they were going and they connected with Dana White and the UFC guys, and they tuned up his weaknesses as far as the wrestling in the clinch game. So a lot of you guys don't understand that Terence Crawford was masterful on every level, in boxing, outboxing, on the outside, inside, in the clinch, fighting in the pocket. He just did everything. It's probably the greatest performance that I've ever seen as an adult in my life. This was a beautiful display of boxing. Everything that we say we want as a boxing fan, Terence Crawford gave that to you against Errol Spence. He truly separated himself. Usually when we get these fights, they usually go to the cards and it be some controversy. And I believe that's what a lot of people were banking on. They wanted Errol Spence to steal a victory and go into this rematch with this bogus back and forth again, and maybe it'd be a trilogy. And I get that. I know there was a lot of hoping and wishing for Errol Spence. But again, you guys with Errol Spence was kind of like, go back to this whole example. Talk to women. It's a lot easier to believe the negative about an unattractive girl. If the woman is unattractive, going back to the scenario, if the woman's unattractive, okay, and she's showing you whole behavior, man, you're gonna chalk that shit up. You ain't it ain't that sexy, so you don't give a fuck either way, and you're gonna really drag her. But it becomes a little bit more trickier when the woman is fucking attractive. When there's a draw there, when she's everything that you like and you're attracted to physically, you kind of might ignore some of the whole tendencies or some of the signs that point to whole tendencies. So you're going to give that benefit of the doubt. That's understandable. Me, I don't give a fuck about none of that because I know everything that glitter ain't gold. I know that if you want to tame a monkey, you give him something shiny. I'm not a fish. I'm not a monkey. I'm a man. And I use logic to the best of my ability. So I don't come into a situation where there's two hoes. One is a 5 and one is a 10, and I get no. Y'all hoes getting treated the same. I'm not going to do that. That's not even fair. Like, I'm not going to treat the 5 different because the 10 is a 10. If y'all hoes exhibiting the same behavior, then you're going to get treated as such. That's just a female-male analogy. Okay? For those who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So my point is feeding back to Errol Spence in boxing. I understand that you guys thought that Errol Spence's style was attractive. Okay? And I ain't knocking it. I understand that it was attractive. But you guys ignored all the whole tendencies. You guys ignored the game rules. Right? There's certain game and rules that you got to go by. There's laws of nature and principles. Right? It's always better safe than sorry. We already know that layoffs is not good, man. Let's knock this shit off. We all know that basic concept. Layoffs are not good for a boxer. Inactivity is the enemy of an active fighter. We all know that. So when you violate that universal law, it don't matter who you like and who you don't like. We all kind of know that's just not a good thing. Like, it don't matter what channel you is, bro. Like, we got to start saying, hey, listen, this layoff may be a factor. I'm going back to this whole shit. When somebody lays off for me, because I got burnt by this before. I had picked, who the fuck I had picked, man? Nicholas Walters. I had picked Nicholas Walters over Lomachenko because I was in love with the way Nicholas Walters fight. Man, that nigga came off that layoff and Lomachenko spanked the shit out of his ass. I was so goddamn disappointed. I said, never fucking again. You won't get me with another long layoff. After Nicholas Walters, I said, I don't give a fuck who my favorite fighter is. I'm not going for that. And we all have to experience that. I didn't know that either, man. I didn't take it into account. I'm just going to be real with you. I hadn't took that into account before because I just thought Nicholas Walters was that deal. And when he got his ass undressed by Lomachenko, I said, okay, Zone, you know what? You're going to have to stop this shit. Stop ignoring the whole tendencies because you're attractive to the style. We just talking real talk. This ain't a pit. This is we doing the aftermath thing. We just going in a different direction. I learned that myself. Y'all can learn what y'all want to learn and how y'all want to do it and do it with y'all. I'm cool. I respect it. I'm just talking about me. I understand. Errol Spence has an attractive style. Okay? And then here's the problem. When the style is attractive and you got your mind made up that you fucking with that style, let's go to the female. When that girl is the titties sitting up right, her face is cute, she smell good, she look clean, she looks good, you kind of tend to ignore what you know better than. A wise man learns from his mistakes. An even wiser man learns from the mistakes of others. There's 2 points of learning. What to do and what not to do. You understand what I'm saying? What to do and what not to do. You know, if Errol Spence is coming off a fucking layoff, that can't be good. It just is math. The laws of physics, science, math, history, social studies, geography, sociology, psychology, intro to psych, human development, nigga, PE, health, everything points to, in the world of sports science and medicine, that ain't gonna work all the time. Those chickens are going to come home to roost based on the laws of the universe, the laws of religion. You cannot be inactive. The inactivity has already been declared as a bad thing per Mike Tyson, per Holyfield, per Sugar Ray Robinson and all these guys. Why do you think these guys back in the day, they had records of 110 and 5 draws? Because they kept staying active. So they was in a rhythm, so they didn't never really miss a beat. So a lot of those records is partly because of the activity. Yeah, they lost some, but they won a lot because they stayed active, especially if they're a high-level boxer. So Spence did not put himself in the best position for me to even, I couldn't even, he just was inactive. I just can't go with that for me. The other thing is, the car wreck, man. And it ain't just the one car wreck. It's the multiple car wrecks that, again, the universal laws suggest that that's not a good thing. So let's go back to this whole scenario. This dime piece girl that's attractive, that's displaying whole tendencies and bad tendencies. Okay? If you ever notice, just mixing some female analogies in here. One thing about a hoe, right? A girl who out there living her best life. She's going to be all over the place. Usually they car be nasty. They usually have cups and shit all in there. They usually have some clothing items in the back seat. Some of them, if they have a kid, they'll have all that shit with a car seat in the back. You open up the trunk, the whole trunk nasty. So even though this girl is a 10 and her style and everything about her is attractive, there's just signs of the universe and law that say, hey man, you might want to come out of your flesh and your bag and pay attention to what the fuck going on. This girl all over the place. She in the streets. Her name out there. You're looking at her Instagram and she got her ass all out. She's advertising. Oh, no, she's a good girl. I'm still attracted to her. Yeah, all right, I got it. You want to take on that risk and you want to take that chance, that's cool. But don't be disappointed about the disappointment. So with Errol Spence, I'm saying, don't be disappointed about the disappointment. You know better, now you need to do better. That's just real talk. So Errol Spence's style was attractive to you guys. I get it. His story was attractive to you guys. The momentum and the credibility that he had with you guys was attractive. So you picked him. But inactivity, the car wrecks, not car wreck, car wrecks, the drinking, the hanging out with, he was still hanging out with Yellow Beezy to the end. I give him that. At least they loyal to each other. If Yellow Beezy had his arm around him, walking him back to the dressing room with that pumpkin head. I respect that. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Go down with your ship. I fuck with it. But all those signs pointed to whole type tendencies. And you hear me going back and forth between an analogy between a female that have suspect behavior before you find that she's the hoe that you thought she was. And sometimes we can give the more attractive girl the benefit of the doubt regardless of her behavior. That's what happened with Errol Spence. All right? So Errol Spence was going against. Okay, now I understand taking those risks against a lesser opponent. Maybe another guy he fights. Like, let's say he fights Keith Thurman, if he had fought Keith Thurman. So now the inactivity thing is balanced. The blowing up in weight thing is balanced because Keith Thurman has some of the same issues. Keith Thurman has been in a car wreck as well, too. Keith Thurman has been busted up to the body. Keith Thurman all over the place. I believe, in my opinion, I'm just going to tell you this. I think one of the biggest missteps for Errol Spence going into the Terence Crawford fight is not obviously it's activity to me, right? So obviously, if I'm saying inactivity was a problem, the next question would be, well, goddamn, Zone, what you wanted the nigga to do? I would have suggested that he fight either, I'm just being real with you, either Boots or he should have fought Keith Thurman. To me, that would have just had a better, that would have been a better a preparation track. Just being honest with you and just being real, it just felt like it would have been better if he had done it like that. I'm just going to be real with you guys. Because Keith Thurman it would have been on an even playing field. They had some of the same similar issues. Both of those could have been weighted, and then we could have picked Errol Spence over Keith Thurman, and that would have been more of a 50-50 fight. So what you guys was thinking that was going to happen with Crawford, I think that's more the case with Errol Spence. Errol Spence probably catch Keith Thurman to the body. Keith Thurman starts spinning his mouthpiece out and shit. Maybe Keith Thurman catch him with something, drop him. Maybe Errol Spence drop him. But I can see a knockdown drag out between Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. And let's say Errol Spence win. Let's say he beats Keith Thurman. But I'm going to say I can see that because his ass had a fucking layoff. He's been in car wrecks. He's been playing the flute and bullshitting. So that's equal to me. That's why you should have fought Keith Thurman. And you get to extract, okay, Keith Thurman got power and speed. Let's see how we deal with that because Errol Spence ain't never fought nobody with speed of foot in hand with power. It's always a big ass deficit in two of the three categories: foot speed, hand speed, and power. Just being real with you. You see what I'm saying? So he never fought anybody like that. Not saying he can't beat nobody like that. And not saying he can't beat Keith Thurman or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying that would have better prepared him. If you say it should be Boots, I'm with you on Boots. But I just didn't see, I'm just being honest with you, I just didn't see how Ugas prepared you for Terence Crawford. Now, I'm going to say this. Let me get back to this. We got to talk females because you guys need to start talking about girls sometime because you niggas be on here way too goddamn aggressive. So I'm going back to my female analogy. Crawford, okay, his style and his trajectory, not him. Crawford, in his way that he moved, is like a female that really is looking to achieve the ultimate goal and be the best wife, best woman that she can be. She walk like it, act like it, talk like it. Now I understand Errol Spence style was attracted to some of you guys, and some of you guys felt like Terence Crawford was putting on. Because a lot of people do that with some women out there. It be some good women that's solid, that's just around, just chilling. They solid and they just doing their thing and they ain't getting into no shit. They looking for a husband. They looking to be the best version of themselves all the time, every time, at every level. Crawford style says that. He 35, 40, 47. He was looking to get the recognition of being a person who wants to be known as a great. And he lived that. He didn't just talk it. He talked it, walked it, fought it, took the opponents. He did what he had to do. And that's what it's like. Like the whole, it was like comparing a hoe to a real wife. Like it's like this bitch over here is on Instagram doing this, that, and the third. And this girl over here is preparing to be a wife. She could cook, she could clean, she could do all this kind of shit. This motherfucker over here got this nasty ass car. This bitch driving in a fucking Dodge Charger. She hoeing out, yeah, the Charger look good or the Challenger look good. It's a Hellcat. But this bitch over here in a motherfucking Acura or a 745, some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? She in the luxury kind of car because she got her shit together. Not in an arrogant way, but she got her shit together. And that's what it was like for me if I was to use this analogy using females. So back to the boxers. Terence Crawford is committed to what he's supposed to do. He's married to boxing. Errol Spence is hoeing around with boxing. Errol Spence and boxing is supposed to be in a marriage. Errol Spence out here slutting himself out. He out here hoeing himself out. And boxing is the primary caregiver for him and his lifestyle. Boxing, the game of boxing is the dominant figure in Errol Spence's life. Errol Spence ain't the dominant figure in boxing. Nigga, you can't own boxing. Boxing is his own system and entity. So when you're a man, when you go into a career field and you go into a system, you can't beat the system. You have to operate within it. So there's a level of seniority, protocol, rules, and regulations that you got to follow in the game, whether it's in the streets, whether it's in a gang, whether it's in high school, college, military, the police force, fire department, the working at a plant, or YouTube. There's a certain level of seniority and respect that has to be paid to the game. I ain't say the niggas in it. I just say the game itself. And Errol Spence was equivalent to a dime that's a hoe. Crawford was equivalent to a dime that's trying to find a husband. And they just not in the same league. If you've ever encountered that, and I know some of you guys may or may not, I know some of you guys are red pill, but there's a difference between a 10 that's fine as outdoors and you know she a hoe, and a 10 that's looking for a husband that's actually interested in you. Not something you see your partners doing. That y'all should have had this experience by now. I ain't gonna even say a 10, but let's say you got something a 7 or 8, 2 girls in your life that has looked kind of closely good. They both have looked great, right? You guys have had the experience of having to pick between one girl and another girl, and you could tell that both of them are fine or attracted to you, and you knew that one was not going to be good for you because of her tendencies. And you've had 2 of those scenarios in which one, you picked the wrong one and you got your ass burnt. The second one, you say, okay, I know not to do that. I'm going to pick the good one, and you won. And that's what happened with Errol Spence. He's not married to the game. He's hoeing out. Crawford is married to the game. He's solidified. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's a dutiful boxer. So now let's bring it all the way back in from this inside game. When Crawford got on the inside, I mean, it was just, I mean, he beat him worse on the inside. Like, that shit was crazy. I didn't expect him to just dog walk Spence on the inside like that. I thought it would be some back and forth there, and I thought that's where, like, I thought it was going to be more even in the pocket, but I thought Crawford would get the best of him. I knew Crawford would dominate him on the outside and in the mid-range. Crawford had better lateral movement, better hand speed, foot speed. He's more powerful as a puncher. His arms are longer. He's more crispy, his IQ is higher. That just didn't sound good going into a fight with Errol Spence, who just got all the shit that violate the game. Being real, that just wasn't a good deal for me. And I'm not a Crawford or Spence fan. I'm a Thurman fan. So I got to see this from a neutral perspective. And for the record, I'm going to say this. When Crawford, before he fought Gamboa, I picked Gamboa to beat Crawford. That was another layoff. It got me. There was another one that got me with their layoff shit. Gamboa came in off a layoff on fighting Terence Crawford. And it showed. So I knew that a long time ago, I picked Gamboa against Crawford. And I seen then that you can't do that shit with this dude. I said, you know what? Because Gamboa can fight. I don't know how you guys got, and then Gamboa was undefeated. I don't know how you guys forgot who Gamboa is. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that, but Gamboa can fight. We already know that. Crawford exploited him, even though Gamboa was tough, but he was coming off that layoff. You can't do that against Crawford. It just showed me that you can't do that. And then it just showed me around the game of boxing that layoffs are not good. They're just not good when you finna go against a high level. When you're going into a high level fight, it's just not an ideal situation or circumstance to be in my opinion, based on what I've seen. So Errol Spence had all the issues that you could point to say, you know what, I'm gonna sit this one out. I'm just not comfortable. I'm a root for Errol Spence, but I'm just not comfortable with actually putting no money down on it. I'm just not confident. I do think Errol Spence is bigger. I do think he's stronger. And I don't think the layoff, because some of you guys said you guys just didn't think the layoff affected him. You guys didn't think the car wreck. You guys said you weren't going to use that as an excuse. I'm saying I just would have. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It ain't got nothing to do with pride. It just, bro, this man got into a car wreck. That ain't got shit to do with a boxing prediction, man. This nigga got thrown out of a goddamn Ferrari or whatever the fuck he was joining, Lamborghini, something. Like, come on, man. Y'all know better than this shit. Then this man over here, man, Terence Crawford ain't had no injuries, no broken hand, no layoffs, no nothing. The nigga just healthy. Through and through. Stopping shit. So I understand, man. Listen, this ain't gonna turn out good for Errol Spence. I told you guys his speech been slurred. I've been dropped that in the bucket. I said I'm not on top of all the shit that I just described on why I wouldn't pick Errol Spence and the lessons that I learned about picking niggas coming off layoffs, Gamboa and Nicholas Walters. I learned my lesson. I don't give a fuck even if I did have Errol Spence a long time ago. It was gonna change the goddamn on this fight. Because I'm not going for that shot. I'm not getting fooled by this whole shit. I'm just not taking that gamble or that risk. You're gonna have to show me that it was all just you just on Instagram and you really don't be doing that. You just was bullshitting. Yeah, you're gonna have to show me that. You're gonna have to show me that I have your whole tendencies all wrong. That's not my responsibility. You gotta show me that shit. Just like you showed me you had the layoff, just like you got the drinking, just like you got 3 car wrecks, just like you said, every count be a fat count, and you don't take it serious because you could beat up people regardless. There's a lot of arrogance and a lot of cockiness there toward the game and toward your opponents. And you said you was going to take the easy road. That shit didn't work out for you, Spence. It ain't got nothing to do with, it ain't nothing you could do to change that. It has nothing to do with, it has a lot to do with the stylistic matchup, man. I get it. It has a lot to do with that. But Crawford could not execute all of that shit to the T and to the perfection like he did if he hadn't been married to the game. Because it ain't like Errol Spence can't fight. It's just that he was fighting and beating up people on the easy road. That's what he said, man. Like, you can't, like, you gotta chill, bro. Like, yeah, you can't be doing no shit like that, man. Y'all niggas fight twice a year, bro. So y'all don't have time to be playing. Like, what are y'all doing? And see, this is why I don't like niggas fighting twice a year, man. Because what happens is you do your little 2-month count, you're going to bust somebody up real quick, you get $2-3 million, then you take like 3 months to fuck off, and then we try to figure out who you're going to fight next. We got to go through this long bullshit. Then it take another year for somebody to finally sign a contract. If that's the minimum, because usually it take 4 to 5 years for us to get these big fights. I don't know why, but we still ain't even got AJ versus Tyson Fury. So that's just an example. We still ain't got AJ versus Deontay Wilder. So that's just an example. All right. So at the minimum, it sometimes take a year just to make these basic fights. So these guys don't need to be laying off like that, man. And some of these guys cannot afford to do that. And Spence is one of them guys with the style of punishment that he like to dish out. He just can't. He got to stay active, man. as a slugger, you got to stay active, man. You got to get in there 2 to 3 times a year, just like Triple G was doing, busting people up, getting the fuck up on out of there, staying sharp, staying fresh. Soon as Triple G started waiting around for Canelo, his skills started to erode. After Caribou went up there and kind of showed some kinks in his armor. As soon as Caribou went up there and bust up Triple G a couple of times with a couple of hooks and jabs, everybody was like, oh yeah, that nigga sweet. He broke eye socket, but surely after that, Canelo was like, oh man, he can't, oh nigga, I'm finna fight this nigga. Book gave him some issues. I'm definitely, see, that's how the floodgate opens. When you fight people that you don't have no business fighting, you find yourself in these uncompromising situations. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you do whole shit, you find yourself fucked. And that's just the analogy to close up on the female type example. But so anyway, moving forward, it ain't gonna get no better, man. Y'all just gotta pack Errol Spence up, and it's unfortunate, but this just may be a situation where it's a career. Ain't nothing wrong with that. What's the problem? But listen. Andre Berto fought at welterweight his whole life and did only got 2 belts. He got the IBF and the WBC. He okay. Sean Porter won multiple belts in the division, the IBF, the WBC, 2-time world champion, and he retired at 147. What's the problem? Keith Thurman looked like he on the way out the door. What's the issue? I mean, Errol Spence had a good career. He fought Danny Garcia. He fought Terence Crawford. He good. He good. He had all 3 belts. He was unified. There's really nothing else for him to necessarily do outside of what he's already done. Sometimes it's just a cap on what niggas can do. 3-time welterweight world champion, unified. That's not bad. That's nothing to sneeze at. He just have to probably just stop at 147. Now he could go up to 154, and he probably can start, picking and poking and doing a twilight tour. We call it twilight tour, like when you on your last deployment and you kind of just going through the motions and keeping it to a minimum, but you taking on a small load because you kind of doing a turnover to your relief. Like, you know what I'm saying? You on your way out the door, you finna change your command, or you just finna simply retire. And they start letting you pull back. You don't have to be so dirty and hands-on. You just sit there and you kind of give out instructions and give the advice and pass all your knowledge on to somebody else. That's where Spence is going to be in, the Twilight Tour now. Because he got to be very methodical and very careful with his opponent selection, bro. It's just we're at that point. When these guys waste their prime like they do bullshitting, you can't be selective early in your career. And what I'm talking about is when you get in contingency. Now, you do have to be selective twice. You already get to be selective twice. You get to be selective as a prospect. Then you get to be selective once you kind of solidify yourself as a Hall of Famer. I do think you could do that, especially if you're an ATG. You get to solidify yourself and twilight this thing on out because you've done what you're supposed to do. There's always more to do. But come on, you get 2 positions. At the beginning, you get to take it easy. And at the end, you get to take it easy. Everybody knows this. When you at your job and you in your career field, you get to learn the ropes. You get to find out things. You get to learn. You get to figure it out. You got to be shown the ropes. Just like being a freshman in high school, you get to learn the ropes. You got to learn to change your classes. You get all that shit. Y'all know this. Figure out what sport you want to do. Figure out who you're going to go to the prom with. Then once you get a rhythm, 10th, 11th grade, you get that work in. And then 12th grade, your last semester, nigga, you in the bag. You graduate. You on to the next shit. You thinking about post-high school and what that looked like. And Spence wasted. No, I'm not going to say he wasted time. I'm going to say Spence had a good balanced career. He did fight who he's supposed to fight. And he did take some opportunities on some of the people that he had to. Lamont Peterson and all that kind of stuff, in totality, his resume is not that good, but it has some things in it. Beating Danny Garcia, beating Porter in a classic fight, and then facing Terence Crawford, Ugas, that's going to pay some dividends. You got the 3 belts. That's going to pay dividends. You can't take that away from him. But to me, he has to be extremely selective with the moves that he make from here on out if he's going to continue to have a boxing career, right? Because he got to think about all the effects. He need to gather up all the information for himself. Hey, man, what can I do to get healthy? What can I do to stay active? And how active can I be? What are my limitations? What kind of realm of opponents do I need to be fighting? Especially if you want to make some money. And he got to be very, very selective on his comeback trail. He could come back. We just know he can't fuck with Crawford. That's it. It's over with. It is what it is. I mean, Deontay Wilder had to come back after 2 beatings by Tyson Fury, and he came back strong. His eardrum was busted up. Okay, he took massive damage. Errol Spence, he going up to 154. If he does that, now we take the weight issue off the table. But here's the thing about Errol Spence, man. That don't mean you get fatter. Because, see, Errol Spence strike me as a motherfucker, man. He going to say, well, at 147, I had the nutritionist, which he should have been having a long time ago. He strike me as a guy that's going to go to 154. And to me, he gives me the vibe that the more cushion you give him, the more he's going to take advantage of it. So now instead of walking around at 180 and 190, shrinking down to 147, I just feel like Errol Spence is going to go in there based on the tendencies, and now he's going to fight at 154 and balloon up to 190 and 180 and just feel like it's just a easier shrink. He don't strike me as a guy that's going to sit there and eat those vegetables and smoothies. He just don't look comfortable doing that. He's just a guy that has to drink. They got hands. They want to eat a big Texas steak. They want to do it like that. They want to have a good time. They want to wear bucket hats, big chains. He just want to be able to do that. And his physical gifts allow him to beat up people until they don't. You know what I'm saying? Until they don't. And then you got to take a different approach, which he's in a space of having to take a clearly a different approach. And he going to 154, man. He can recover from this. He can learn, but it can't be that you doing 154, bro, because you want to be more of a bullshitter. You have to take everything you learned from this fucking fight, and you have to take it into 154 and be more disciplined. Like all this talking that Errol Spence doing, all this tough guy talk. Yeah, nigga, if I had an excuse, I wouldn't make one. Like, that don't have shit to do with boxing, man. You finna fight you telling us all that ain't got the goddamn to do with this man Crawford, who finna probably whoop your ass again in his rematch. Earl Spence gotta come off that shit, man. You gotta sit down and say, okay, I ain't finna cry like no bitch. But you know what? We did get our ass destroyed. Derek, you trainer of the year, man. We've been together forever. What we need to do, bro? And them two need to have a conversation on where they had a communication breakdown. And they both need to take accountability. Derek James, trainer of the year, started losing himself. He let Bomac get under his skin. He started saying shit that wasn't boxing related. He got too personal. Started calling Bomac fat and all that kind of shit. You gotta let the fans do that. And I understand the trainers, man, I get it. You gotta defend yourself. But to me, Derek James just feel like he getting a little too spicy. You know, I see he in the gym, he losing weight, he getting a little too spicy. He's not staying in the trainer's place. He's not staying in the instructor's place. He's trying to be all in videos. He's doing a little too much right now. I ain't saying it's bad. I ain't saying it's bad right now. I'm just saying he need to check that shit out. He's starting to show some whole tendencies. You need to chill out, man. We know you working out with Errol Spence. You look good and in shape. I'm always for somebody looking healthy and doing their thing. And yes, Bomac is fat as fuck, and he need to be doing his thing because I wouldn't want the brother to have a heart attack or nothing like that. That shit is real. Okay? But that's neither here nor there as far as your responsibilities to train your fighter. All right, 5 minutes. I'm gonna drop it in. I ain't know if anybody want to get in. I'm gonna drop it in 5 minutes. Let me just get this shit out the way, and we're gonna keep cooking, y'all. I mean, so look, just to wrap up my position. If you've been listening, it's just that you can't be doing this shit, man, as an athlete. And all you guys who are athletes, I understand the non-athletes picking Errol Spence. I can see that because they kind of just going with it in the casual boxing fan. But you hardcore boxing fans and you former athletes or current athletes, y'all know that ain't gonna work, man. Come on, man. You know ain't no nigga finna beat you after he came off the car. Man, that's easy work. If you're a high-level athlete, or you're a strong nigga, you not finna let no nigga outdo you that got all those issues and those trendy issues. Errol Spence just got to go back to the drawing board. You need to back the fuck off Terence Crawford. You need to solidify yourself at 154. I think right now what you need to be doing is cleaning your body out, however that looks. Check your neurological issues, your organs, get a physical. And you need to do some coordination. You need to revamp how you do your training to kind of sharpening your motor skills. Because Errol Spence's motor skills was in question to me. Errol Spence's motor skills was always in question to me. So I didn't understand when you violate the game of boxing, why was y'all picking this guy? It's one thing to say I'm rooting for him, but you guys were stomped down telling us we stupid, is nowhere in the fuck. Even Errol Spence was buying into it. When Terence Crawford told him, he said, hey, when I stop you, they're going to say you stayed at the weight too long. And Errol Spence's face and reaction showed me, which he should. Ain't nowhere in the hell that outcome ain't gonna happen. So that let me know that Spence was like, man, ain't nowhere in the fuck this gonna happen. You stopping me, man? You got me fucked up. And I don't blame him and shit, because nigga, you ain't finna stop, nigga, you got me fucked up. That was the proper response. So I know the nigga hurt because he didn't see it coming. When he got put on the canvas in the second round, I know that he was concerned because he didn't think Crawford was, he didn't know who the fuck Crawford was. I don't know what he was thinking, what they was doing, but the layoffs and all that nonsense will do this to you. This is when you learn the hard way. Now he got the experience of Terence Crawford beating on his ass. Now he'll probably put some respect on his man's name, he'll put some respect on the game of boxing, because now what Errol Spence have learned is that there's levels to this shit. And that shit with Danny Garcia and, Lamont Peterson, Mikey Garcia, like that shit, that ain't Crawford, man. So, man, Errol Spence just need to, in my opinion, go all the way back to the drawing board. Okay? Crawford is an all-time great boxer, man. Y'all, they already had said it. They said, and everybody acknowledged that, oh no, Terence Crawford is a Hall of Famer, whether he fight Errol Spence or not. This was already understood. It was already understood. So I don't know how everybody forgot. I just don't understand it, man. I'm just being real with y'all. Like, so the link down there, Hill, if you still in, or anybody that want to get their opinion or lend their opinion on what I said, we good to go. Shit, if y'all got time, we can jump in here. If not, I'm gonna shut it down. I gotta go to a haircut appointment at 1:00, so we got to like 12:30. We got like 40 minutes if you guys want to cook. If not, I'll shoot on to something else. But I'm gonna keep wrapping this and then let you guys get in here if you choose to. Errol Spence got a lot of work to do, man. I know you want your lick back. I understand that. but you had your chance. But I understand y'all got the rematch. So if Errol Spence want to do the rematch, man, do the rematch. I just feel like it's a little too sensitive right now between James and the camp. I just think they need to take a different approach. That's my opinion. And this is me trying to, I'm going to be real with this is me taking the Errol Spence position. Because I really don't care. I really would like to see him go in there again and get his ass put in a coma. Because I don't like Errol Spence. But I'm putting that all to the side to really say some real shit. Like, bro, you got to revamp. Go ahead. Here, what's up, bro?
What up, man? I think that the real issue of this fight was I think Errol Spence he didn't take Terence Crawford seriously, man. Terence Crawford took him seriously. After speaking to his dad, man, you know that boy had. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, we hear you.
All right. So
Hey, here, why
so
you be having an echo and all that? You on the phone or in the car or something? Because your stuff be kind of echoing.
yeah, man, I'm on the phone, man.
All right, go ahead. You sound clear now. Whatever you do with the phone, you probably got to sit because it be kind of like echoing and stuff.
All right. So yeah, man, Terence Crawford daddy said they prepared for Errol Spence. They had a UFC, the best UFC strength and conditioning coaches with him throughout the whole camp. So he was prepared for Earl Spence like 1,000 times more than what Earl Spence was prepared for him. So it's just like you said, there's levels to this, man. I'm learning even more and more, man. And if Earl Spence don't get back with Blu-ray, and he don't stand a chance in the rematch, man. And I hate to say that because I'm an Earl Spence fan, but he don't stand a chance. He has to put in the work that Terence Crawford put in order to challenge Terence Crawford. That's all I want to say.
Okay, no doubt. What's up, Q to God? What you got, boy?
Man, first off, man, salute my niggas on six, man, for keeping that shit 100%, man. I stepped through on the live. I think you did it either yesterday or Sunday, man. Nah, I mean, where you let niggas know, man. For all that shit niggas was talking, and I thought about it like maybe I'm going too hard. Nah, I'm not. Cause these niggas been doing this shit for 5 years. Straight fucking cap. Yelling that shit at the top of their lungs. Cap shit. Nah, my nigga, I ain't letting that shit slide. But
Exactly.
man,
Exactly.
back on top of that, hold up, this nigga got these loud ass speakers. Niggas don't do that shit in 2023, man.
Show on. But
My bad. I'm outside the
yeah, I got you. I know you're gonna wait. So I agree with you so far because it ain't gonna be no. I get it. We could go a little hard on them sometimes, but we got to dissect this. It ain't an argument. It ain't about you, a personal vendetta. All that shit can be moved to the side. That's just to muck up the waters. We just because it ain't over because until Earl Spence say, okay, I'm conceding and I don't want the rematch and I'm moving on to do something else, then it ain't over because there's a rematch pending. So this shit ain't over. So we're going to keep talking about it. That's just because y'all going to come back. Earl Spence fans is going to find a reason in their mind to justify that whole behavior. Again, the analogy that I gave y'all is that dime that's showing you whole ways. You catch the bitch and on a date with a nigga or some fucked up shit and you take her back. Oh, it wasn't that bad. No, man, you got to let that shit go, man. I know Errol Spence's style is attractive. I understand he's from Texas in the South and he's a brother. I get all that. But you can't violate the game, man. You gotta treat your body good. You gotta treat the game good, man. Go ahead, Q, if you in a clear space. It's on you.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. Yeah, man. But yeah, back to put my foot on these weak ass niggas next, man. It was a nigga yesterday on the panel talking goof ass shit. Like, man, I don't know why y'all trying to go talking so bad about another black man and all this and that. Man, and I have to go in there and let that nigga know, bro, I don't give a fuck how you feel about how another man feel. Talking about another man, bro. Why you worried about what I'm saying about another man, bro? That weak ass shit up. I ain't even a fan of him. I ain't a fan of him. Nigga, I can't tell, nigga. Fuck wrong with these niggas, man. That nigga got his ass beat and it ain't nothing he could do in the second fight. But since he want the rematch, I want the rematch. And the reason why I want the rematch, because I seen shit in the ring that Terence Crawford still was going to do, but didn't get to do. He ain't really get to show us that uppercut like that. You know what I'm saying? He was about to flip that nigga ass with the motherfucking uppercut. He ain't get to show us that. So I want to see that. I'm pretty sure Terence Crawford can show us more than one way to skin a cat. And I mean that by saying this. He can show us more than one way to beat that nigga ass. So in the second fight, he gonna get his ass beat again, but it's gonna look different.
Man, what you think Crawford gonna bring out? Because I think if they fight again, it's gonna be over with between 4 and 5. I haven't decided yet. I called 10. I was one short. I said TKO in the towel, and I was getting closer and closer to it. I said, "Damn, man, they almost about to throw that towel too." Either one, and I think it's gonna be the same scenario. I just can't figure out if I want to go with the 4th or the 5th. So, what you think, Crawford? If you predicted, what you think he gonna do to this nigga this time?
Man, I'm gonna say 5 rounds, and he not gonna play with his food. He not gonna play with his food. He carried that nigga. He felt sorry for that nigga, dog. He really felt sorry for that dude. After he dropped him twice in the 7th, he went to go dap him up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He went over there to be like, "Hey man, you good? You still okay? You still here? like you good? You good?" He told me. Crawford said, if he get out of line, I'm gonna fuck him up. Crawford said, if he get out of line, and it's Errol Spence smacking his teeth, man, you got me fucked up, man. So, hey.
Hey, you gonna need more than a fishing pole to reel me in, nigga. That nigga needed a stick and a shoestring to reel your dumb ass in, nigga. What is you talking about, man? A stick and a shoestring, man. With the safety pin. You know how they used to put the safety pin on that shit. If you country like me, they'll put the safety pin on that motherfucker. Like Granny used to.
Yeah, that nigga talking about he Moby Dick, man. That nigga was like Nemo. That nigga was easy, like Crawford. That nigga Crawford told that that's gonna be a big fish fry, bro. Like this nigga. Oh man, Errol Spence, man. I think he need to chill, bro. I think he need to chill out, man, and rededicate himself to the sport, man. It ain't got nothing to do with Crawford, nothing else. He shouting me to see what direction he want to really go in with his life. You know what I'm saying? Just being real with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because already revealed, like, oh man, you know, I kind of, not that he need the money, but he got to do it to a degree because he got kids and privates, he got bills, and he got obligations. And here's the problem with Errol Spence, man. Errol Spence, I suspect he don't need to get some bigger paydays, bro, because the dude health, that shit on the back end of his life is finna pop up. Like this nigga is not 40, man, yet, and this nigga finna have some issues from the 3 car wrecks, from this fight with Terence Crawford. If you have another fight with Terence Crawford, they're gonna take some more years off this guy's life. This guy is going to have some issues long term if he don't stop while he ahead, man. He need to take a break.
I say, man, if he go in the rematch, he need to practice on straight defense. Like straight up. You ain't got to do no offensive drills, nigga. You ain't got to hit the bag. You ain't got to do nothing. Straight defense. Nigga, we gonna move your feet and move your head for 8 fucking weeks. We might need a 16-week camp. Cause that nigga beat your ass. Soon as them scars and bruises go down, get your ass in the gym.
Yeah. He need to do a little bit more road work to me, and I think he need to hit the speed bag, man. Errol Spence, I don't really see Errol Spence. From what I see, I never see him working on speed. Never. Like every fight, I always see him in there busting. He works the body. We know he works that body. He's always working on his front foot game and body punching, and the jab, body punching, front foot fighting. No step backwards, not too much lateral movement, some basic, inside dirty boxing kind of hold them tips. Like, he can move you around. He's strong enough to kind of push you back and shit like that. But he's
counter punching.
It's jab, body, front foot. That's it. I don't never see him. I don't think I've ever really seen Errol Spence jump rope. I've never seen Errol Spence really doing an exercise with coordination and speed. Like, you know how Floyd used to kill the jump rope, man? I don't see him doing nothing like that. I don't see him hitting the speed back. Anything that's a speed exercise, I never see Errol Spence doing it.
Yeah, I never seen him doing nothing at a fast pace.
That's what I'm saying.
Fact.
I just, now that I think about it, I never seen this guy speed bagging it. I never seen him hit the double bag. I've never seen the guy hit the jump rope. I really don't. I just don't see him doing nothing that requires fast twitch muscles. Every time I do see him, is front foot game, jab, triple the jab, double the jab, power the jab, body. That's all I see him working on. And his whole routine is built around that.
That's why he ain't got no timing or counterpunching.
Yeah.
He can't counterpunch at all. Like, he
probably feel like there's no need to be counterpunching because he's so used to doing all the punching. See, sometimes a nigga feel like, nigga, I'm always the nigga who get the result. What am I preparing for some shit that I ain't never experienced for? Like, think about it now. I understand where a nigga went wrong. Like, why would he not continue to work on jab, triple jab, double jab, lead jab, power jab, breaking your body down, coming forward, front foot game? Why would he not continue to do that when he's won 3 titles off that shit and he's beat some of the top fighters? Why would you even say, let's work on counterpunching?
I'll tell you why.
In his mind, we know why. We know why. But in his mind and Derrick James' mind, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep. That's exactly how they is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
See? And I keep hearing these niggas on these boxers keep talking about, I don't look at no film. I just do what I do. Like Andre Ward and Floyd can do that, bro. Y'all can't be doing that shit. Like, y'all gotta look at this film. Y'all be talking about I'm not going. Floyd had a whole bunch of tools in the box where he could focus on that and not look at your footage, which I believe that's a lie because Roger looked at footage.
Yeah, and I was gonna say Roger is a motherfucker. R.I.P. to Roger, no disrespect. Roger Mayweather was a person that watched enough film for me, you, Floyd, the motherfucking opponent. Like, you know what I'm saying? He coined the phrase "don't know shit about boxing" because you gonna ask that nigga a question, he can't answer.
Exactly. What's up, Kush the Great? What you got, bro? What you got on this?
Man, all over these YouTube streets, just tapping in over from Blood's channel. We was discussing whether Errol Spence is damaged goods. And me, I don't feel for the nigga. You feel what I'm saying? That's me personally because he got what he deserved, bro. I'm going to keep it short and simple.
Yeah.
He talked all that
So what
shit.
you think about the rematch?
Hey, you know what? I feel the same way my boy Q was talking about it last night. We rewatched the fight a couple of times. If he want that ass whooping again, I buy some catfish. I'll pay $80 for that motherfucker again. Because he want the rematch. So don't look at the fans of Crawford and the fans of boxing and hold it against us like we saying, oh yeah, we want to see him get his ass beat again. We ain't advocating for shit. But they signed a contract and he acting like he want to activate the rematch clause. So if he want that smoke again, then shit, I'll watch him get pieced up a second time. No
nigga
problem.
Think 7 pounds gonna help him.
Shit. Ain't gonna help shit.
We'll take that 7 pounds of flesh.
I'm with seeing it again, but what I'm not gonna do, I'm not about to sit up here and feel for the man. And it's hard, it's mostly because of his fans, and also in part because of him regurgitating they weak ass talking points for years.
Fact.
Yeah. You can't be doing that, man. You can't disrespect this game, man, like that. That shit is not cool, bro, on no level, man. This boxing is your life. Like, you can't be like, I can see if these niggas, because none of these guys, to me, seem to have, you know how some niggas, man, they got a career and they went to school and they can kind of lean back on that. These guys' whole thing is boxing. They might have some businesses or some investments due to Al Heyman and just somebody putting them on game, but I don't see Errol Spence having anything outside of boxing, unless he get into some country Texas farming, real estate, like that. He can do that, but the guy needs to. He's going to need whatever money he needs to take care of himself by the age of 40. Because what Errol Spence is, what, 33 or 5? He 35?
Shit, in boxing years, he 38.
Right.
Yeah. No, in boxing years, the nigga 45. The nigga damn near Bernard Hopkins' age. But I think he's in his 30s. By the time he get to 40, man, he 33. Okay, he looked like a bad 33. So by the time this man 38 going into his 40s, man, we're gonna see all this shit rearing his ugly head if he don't stop now. If he fight Crawford again this year, 2023, man, this nigga we're gonna see that damage show up 3 years from now. By the time he 36, 37, he been that corner over 35. The dude, because your prime is 25 to 35. A lot of people think it's earlier, but you don't stop puberty until 25. So 25 to 35 is your prime for real. That's why Crawford looks so dangerous, because he's 35. He's in his prime. That's why Crawford been stopping shit since for the last 11 fights, because your prime is 25 to 35, and it can extend past that depending on what you do with your body. Like how Pacquiao and Mayweather did, they extend Klitschko, and those guys got into their 40s. But now Hopkins, you gonna get some guys like that. But Errol Spence ain't making it to he ain't making it past 35 boxing, man. He just not.
You know what, Zone? I was listening to an interview this morning, and it was George Foreman, and he was talking about the fight, and he said, man, them skilled guys, when they get to that 35 age range, and they slick and they know how to counter and do all that shit, bro, that's when they at their sharpest. Because your mind and your athleticism meet in the same place.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
I've been saying.
Because you're a grown-ass man. You out your 20s. You see what I'm saying? 28, 29, 30, you have enough information about yourself to know, man, let me sit my ass down and just chill with the kids, man. Let me just fuck on the wife or the girl or whatever and just shit my ass down. Let me take what I have earned and enjoy that instead of this extra shit. Errol Spence always been doing extra shit.
Mm-hmm. Catching up for real. And, you know, he want mentally mature. That's another thing. But when you a young nigga really from the streets and you really did it, when other people that didn't get to experience that shit in their teen years, they doing that shit in their 20s. This shit, nigga, I was doing in my teenage years. Grown ass men is just now doing. I'm like, nigga, I'm done with that. I got the wife and kids. I'm 32. I got the wife and kids. Y'all doing shit I was doing in my early 20s and teen years.
Exactly.
That nigga Bud been did that shit. He been mentally mature for this, for getting his first belt and everything that led up, because that's what these dumbass niggas never realized. Bro, this nigga been a fucking champion. How dare you disrespect a nigga resume when you talking about, bro, I was champion damn near 6-7 years before you got your first fucking belt, nigga. You talking about? And I'm undisputed. Like, these niggas weird, bro. This nigga Spence gonna come through. He gonna rematch Bud, and that nigga probably schedule another fight after Bud beat his ass, and he pull out that bitch because niggas like, nah, you're not there, Bud. I mean, you ain't there, Earl. You got to pull out this shit, and he just gonna retire like that, pulling out his last fight because he ain't there. And that's what I feel like he gonna do. He gonna fight Bud, get his ass beat, reschedule something at 54, and pull out that shit because they know he gonna get his ass beat.
And not even just a champion, a multi-division, damn near 2-time lineal undisputed champion before you got your first fucking title.
Yeah. So let me ask y'all this then. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you two questions. I'm gonna ask you what you think and what you believe gonna happen for us the game. So I'm gonna ask y'all. Is y'all get to give me two responses. What do you think, Q? We'll start with you, Q. What do you think? What you think Earl Spence gonna do next? What you think he should do and what you actually think he's gonna do. What are those two routes you think he's gonna do? What are those two scenarios?
What I think he's going to do and what he's actually going to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
What you think? And matter of fact, let's add something else in there. What would you want to see him do? What you think? What you want to see him do? And that like that. We can do that.
Okay. What I think he gonna do, I think he gonna go up to 54. Somebody gonna come with some excuse to help sell the second fight, as if Earl Spence is gonna come back bigger and better, and they gonna fight, and he gonna get his ass whipped worse in 5 rounds. That's what I think is gonna happen. What he's actually gonna do, I think it's gonna be like what's actually gonna happen is damn near what happened in this fight. He's gonna have a tug and pull with his management and his team actually about making the fight. Like I think, like, you know how they got 30 days to for the rematch clause and shit like that. I think they're going to rematch, but it's going to take longer than 30 days to solidify, because Earl gonna want to do it, but his people not gonna want to do it. So I think we gonna get it, but it could be pushed back on some dumbass shit because his team don't want it.
Okay. I agree with that. I think I agree with both of what you're saying. And what would you, for his benefit, what would you want him to do? What's you think best for him? What do you just think?
Going to gym, work hard, give us a second fight. I mean, I know the outcome, but bro, I want him to get paid above all, bro. I'm not gonna go against what the fighter wants. Get at he want that, give him that, bro. If he come back out and watch himself heal and the wounds go off, and he be like, nah, I don't want it, and he gonna do something else, then I respect him doing that. But he gonna get this flame regardless.
Okay. I agree with that. I see it the same way you see it, especially the part about the negotiations and coming up with an excuse and delaying it. I kind of agree with that wholeheartedly. I think there's going to be a divide between what's best for Earl Spence based on the evidence of the doctor report as opposed to what he wants to do. Okay. So, Kush, what you got on that? What you think Earl Spence is going to do, what you want him to do, and what you believe he's actually going to do?
What I think he's gonna do, I think he's gonna rush into this ass whooping and try to get his ass whooped again, because he's stubborn. He only care about motherfucking money. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, but you should factor in one thing over money, and that's your health and the well-being of your family. You see what I'm saying? And I think that his ego combined with his trainer Derek James, they foolish and they want to rush into that fight thinking that they got something that they can improve on, or it's actually his timing that was off in that fight. Like, that shit is stupid. You see what I'm saying? What was the second question again? I heard the 3.
No, you good. Now, what you want him to do? What you think he should?
Right. What do I want him to do? What I want him to do. Oh,
considering like the reports about just taking into account the damage he took. That's really why I say what would be best. You think? Go ahead.
Right. What I want him to do, I think that he should take at least a year off. You see what I'm saying? And really take some time to think about it and really think about the direction of his career and what's best for him, and not just about money. I think that he should actually move up to 154, wait for those titles to vacate, and then take on somebody that got a decent name, like a Fondora or a Tim Tszyu, something like that. Now, what I think he's gonna, well, it was a third question. I'm getting them mixed up. I heard the first two clear.
No, yeah. What you think is actually going to happen? Like you covered it, but what you think they're going to actually do?
What I think is actually going to happen, I think that Bud is going to end up. I don't think he's going to sit around. You see what I'm saying? So Bud is willing to entertain a second fight with Errol, and he's willing to whip his ass again. But really, ultimately, I think that what's going to happen is Errol is going to end up doing exactly what I think he should do, and that's trying to fight Crawford again. That's a bad idea, especially being the fact that he got to get cleared medically and go through those steps. I think that he's going to have another layoff. And
man, is they going to let that nigga fight? Because the commission suspends you.
Yep. This is what I think. This is my prediction. Because I like what you guys are saying. What I believe is going to happen is I'm going to go with Uncle Al. I like Al Heyman. I think this is going to be a time where Al Heyman says, bro, you got to take a step back. I think the family behind closed doors, wife, the team, I believe they're going to kind of be on the side of caution with Errol Spence because of everything he's been through. He don't have the belts no more, so there's no need to be spicy. There's no need to like, oh, man, he holding up the division. He's free. And I think he's going to take this time to lay off and build up for a comeback because this fight ain't going to do the same as it did this time because it's just going to be a consistent conversation about the dominant performance of Terence Crawford. And I don't see Terence Crawford letting up off that. And I don't see Spence adjusting fast enough or changing enough fast enough to make it different. I think Al Heyman steps in. And I believe that what we get is Al Heyman plugging one of his other healthier boxers into this until Jamel becomes available. And I think that if Jamel, I don't know how that's going to go. That's going to determine a lot. But I believe Jamel is going to get himself hurt against Canelo September. That's just my opinion. That's almost what. That's the end of that. Well, September what? What date is they got to fight?
Is it like 27th or something?
Yeah, see,
I'm not all the way sure.
So that's coming up for Jamel. The reality of what's going to happen to Jamel is going to be real quick. But I believe that they're going to stretch it out. And I believe that instead of that rematch, I just believe that Al Heyman is going to put Keith Thurman in that slot. I think that Keith Thurman is going to get the fight with Terence Crawford because he's just healthier, prime. And now I can see this. I can see Keith Thurman, if Crawford, which he probably most likely would beat Keith Thurman, that gives Errol Spence some time. And then I think Errol Spence and Crawford would revisit that. I don't think Crawford will have a problem with giving him a shot at 154. I just think Errol Spence is going to be sitting out for a year. I think he is. And I think that Thurman is going to sub into that 154 spot because at 154, the whole point of the 154 for Crawford was really for the Jamel. But if he don't do that, who he go up and fight? And that leaves what Costa Tszyu. I mean, not Costa, but Tim Tszyu, his son. So if he ain't fighting Tim Tszyu, Keith Thurman to me seems like the best bet, unless he just want to fuck with Boots. But I think Keith Thurman has solidified his welterweight run as one of the greatest of all times. If he even add Boots to it, but Keith Thurman would solidify that to the T.
Keith Thurman, man, I feel like Keith Thurman gonna have to fight in the next 8 weeks. Like if I don't want to see him coming in and fighting that man off a layoff. I want to see Keith Thurman fight somebody respectable in the next 2-3 months and then get it on like at the top of the year because man, that's a long layoff, bro. And if like I don't mind seeing Keith Thurman. I don't know. I just gotta see him fight somebody.
But Keith Thurman talking like that ain't what it is. He talking. I hear him talking. I know he's just talking, but you're right, man. Now, Danny Garcia is supposed to be fighting Arizona Lara at 160. Danny Garcia is still a player. Danny Garcia could, if he looks good against Lara, come down back to 154 and meet Crawford at 154.
Man, you want to see Crawford commit murder, man.
Yeah, I mean, because he needs to clean out the table. I mean, because those are the people, Danny Garcia, Terence, all of them are all in the same group. I mean, why not? Clean them all out.
Oh no, man! This that I ain't gonna lie. Them niggas like to me, they like super light cheese, man. Like I ain't gonna lie. Like after this shit Crawford just did, bro, them dudes are minuscule, bro. Like, and it ain't no disrespect to him for real. But Keith Thurman either gotta come back and tack somebody ass, and I respect that fight. Uh, Danny, I mean, if he could get that belt, then I think shit Crawford should fight him for that belt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Jump up to 160. Jump up to
But
160.
to me, one more weight division for Crawford is what I need. Even if Jermell got to drop them belts and he fight for a vacant or whatever, or if Mel want that smoke and he get it on. But that 4 division, oh man, it just a little. It's that Tommy Hearn shit. It's he one of them. Even
Man,
it ain't like he ain't already is.
Yeah.
It's not like he ain't already is, but you know, it's only a select few to do that 4 division shit.
Yeah. I don't think Jamel want that smoke.
I don't think he do either.
Otherwise, shit, he would have came for it. He don't want that smoke.
I mean, until them sound bites dropped, they were saying something. I want to hear what they were saying back and forth, especially what Crawford was saying. Hell, I want Crawford to do a in-depth interview at like that interview where he just, man, what was going on? What you were saying to him? How you really feel about him? Like, I mean, shit. If you gonna sell the rematch, just let everybody know that boy ain't shit. Cause I mean, that's what it looked like. I don't want to hear that filler and all that. Like, oh, he respectable. Yeah, we know he's slightly durable, but you're him. So talk like that. I don't want to hear no humble Crawford right now. I ain't hear no humble Bomac. And I love what Bomac said. He said, fuck them motherfuckers on me. They was mad at the motherfucker. Oh God, they was mad. Nigga, fuck them, nigga. On me, because they disrespected you. And y'all ain't friends like that, bro. That ain't Kenny Porter, Sean Porter. Like, they some niggas from Dallas,
Agree
bro.
with everything that Bud said. Bud said from years ago, bro. When I beat him, they gonna make excuses. They gonna say he wasn't the same after the accident. Now motherfuckers up here looking sad and retarded. That's what motherfuckers is looking like today. I don't even want to hear
setback
that.
face ass niggas.
Save the excuses, and that's the real reason that I can't let up. I ain't even got all my money from the bets that was placed, so I ain't feeling for it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna feel exactly right till niggas pay me, man. Niggas gotta come holler at me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I appreciate my niggas on 6 for man coming up here, man, and letting me just, bring my little cup of seasoning, bring my little side to the potluck. You know what I mean? We fried this motherfucking fish. I mean, Bud fried this fish, and we just out here serving it. You know what I'm saying? It's enough to go around, my nigga. Salute my nigga Bud, 2-time undisputed. Salute my niggas on 6. My nigga Kush, and every nigga that predicted that ass whooping of the decade, my nigga. Salute to you, my nigga, on me.
One of the easiest fights I ever predicted, bro.
Yeah. Hey, check it out, fellas. Kush, go ahead. That's a good closeout, Q. So go ahead, Kush, and close it up, man. I'm finna go run and get these haircuts at 1 o'clock. I got the appointment, so I'm finna go on and shut it down. Go ahead, Kush. Speak it. Take us home.
Yeah, as usual, appreciate you having us up here, Zone. You always keep it 1,000, bro. And I don't let up on these motherfuckers, Zone. Q, I already know you not, bro. I ain't letting up because they talked all that shit, bro. Now they got excuses, bro. It's conspiracy. This is reminding me of that weak ass Wilder shit, bro. I ain't having it. And I'll check you out on the next one.
All right, man. You hit them. Well, them boys cooking, man. Hey, we're gonna keep it going, man. We probably gonna come back tomorrow. Like I said, I had to make some moves this summer, man. I had to get into this damn house. So it wasn't like I left. I had to do my thing. Shout out to Jay Cotto for the great debate that he had with Tony Reviews. Shout out to Q to God. Shout out to Blood Boxing for always supporting Modern King Boxing, Hype Low, Big Phil Walker, everybody. We still got more of the crew to get on here, man. I'm glad we got Q and them on here today so they could just solo that thing. Big Hill been tapping in and tapping out. We got to get some more people on here. I haven't heard what Bruce Gas thought yet. I just trying to make the rounds for the people who usually show up and come on, man. Buckle up. I got to see what Buckle Up talking about. I got to see what Piro D-Style, I seen what he was talking about. Butch, I know what he's saying. UG Flame, I seen his stuff. Duke, I know how Duke feel about it. Duke, my partner. So I just want to, give everybody a chance to kind of get it out. I know we're going to pick on Errol Spence and his fan base. But what went wrong and what's next? That's part of boxing too. It ain't just the jokes. It's what did we learn from this? What do we feel Crawford is ranked? What does this do for boxing? So those are kind of good conversations we're going to have as well too. And we don't care if you're uncomfortable about us keep talking about it because it's just going to happen until we move on to the next fight. Until Errol Spence do some of his next fights. And here's the thing. If he loses the next fight, we're going to talk about that one. If Crawford loses his next fight, we're going to talk about that one. If they both win, we're going to talk about that. You're only good as your last fight, man. So I'll leave you guys with that. And we out this motherfucker.
And whoever the fan wants.
Listen, I told you give them something visual, so you went ahead and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist, Zone 6. Dre, BT Pound, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, Blood Fists, Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Female Boxing Fan, Carter J, Pull Counter, Joker Boxing, D Styles, the whole YTBC.